It's been a while since trains rolled on these tracks, serving the docks around Leith in Scotland. However, while it may not take very long for the shine to come off the rails, there is a solid foundation underneath, and that thin layer of rust takes no more than a trip or two before it polishes up nicely. Maritime traffic at this and many other ports around the UK is growing. Rail is making its historical presence felt. While the new lines here are for the Edinburgh tram network, the tracks in place at Leith could serve the bulk loads that freighters bring in from around the world. There are many more examples like this around the UK, such as increased activity at Blyth in Northumberland and the recent reactivation of New Haven on the south coast of England. The headlines, though, go to a growing number of infrastructure developments. Grangemouth in Scotland, part of the same consortium that operates Tilbury Freeport in London, recently commissioned new, longer tracks to serve growing demand. Just inland from the busy port, Moss End is the signing-on point for Heather Waugh, a Freightliner driver operating around a cluster of facilities in central Scotland.
It's night and day compared to what I used to do. It's most basic. I just love it. I mean, I always felt privileged to drive trains with my Talk ScotRail, but now it really is. It's night and day. It's I mean, look behind us. Somebody hands me the key and lets me drive the longest, the heaviest, and the most powerful trains in the UK. And even the actual technical aspects of the job is totally different to driving passenger trains. And in passenger, there's a lot of non-technical skills, which you obviously need with freight as well. But it's the sheer enjoyment, the kind of challenges you face, and the rewards. As I say, just somebody hands you the key and gives you that responsibility. It's fantastic, and I think now more than ever, especially to be part of the rail freight family is quite special. You know, the last 12 months I think has highlighted just how important we are to the economy of the UK, and moving forward, obviously, I think we're going to be pivotal in the recovery post-pandemic. There's a lot of misconceptions and preconceptions about freight, and of course, when you're responsible for, 200-300 potentially passengers, it's a massive responsibility. But when you're given 2,000, 3,000, and let's face it, nowadays sometimes 4,000 tonnes worth of a train, the responsibility is massive. It's different, but it's equally massive, and you're on your own with that responsibility. You could be transporting anything from consumer goods to nuclear goods to, obviously we're in Scotland, we've got a lot of Scotch whisky, a lot of flammable goods. So, the consequences of making a mistake are massive, but that's why we're trained so well, and that's the aspects of the job that I think we all love, is the fact that every day could be potentially different depending on what we're pulling, and how we respond to that is different. So rather than, feel the pressure of that responsibility, I think you enjoy that aspect of proper train driving, if you like. Previously I was an operational manager in Royal Mail, and I was, attracted to train driving because there is that responsibility. There's a lot of training involved, but equally the work-life balance is so much more rewarding, because at the end of the day, you get to go home and you spend your time with your friends and your family, and 99 times out of 100 you don't need to consider your work again until you start the next day. So it's that balance of pressure, responsibility, top-class training, but the work-life balance as well that's so seldom kind of found, I think, in today's work-life kind of industries.
It's not so long ago that the provision of facilities at places like Coatbridge were being questioned. Now, however, they're set to be dwarfed by a massive new terminal adjacent to Moss End, which will rival anything in the UK.
There's, more stuff that should be hauled by rail, especially tanked stuff. You can sit, for example, with a train stopped at Beatuck with M74 beside you, and there's a train load driving past you every few minutes, and you're thinking, if we could get all of that onto rail, it would be better for the roads, it would be better for the environment.
The Rail Delivery Group report claims that in the last full year, rail freight contributed £2.45 billion, almost €3 billion to the UK economy, with the benefits felt right across the country. Rail freight has played a pivotal role during the pandemic, and could be even more important in the post-Brexit economy. Britain's rail freight is booming. Domestic traffic is on the increase and new flows are a weekly occurrence. The real value of rail freight lies in its resilience and ability to bounce back from neglect. The Sea Air at Leith will have little chance to make rusty rails around the UK. Stuart Cameron for Rail Freight Live.